Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of the Mac Outdoors podcast with Mia and Lea. We're happy that you're here. Last week we talked to you a little bit about young adults and guns, and since then there have been some states trying to make some laws and changes and stuff like that. So stay tuned, we're going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Mac Outdoors podcast, where a dynamic mother-daughter duo share their adventures, tips, and advice. I am Mia, and I'll be accompanied by the one and only daughter, Lea. It is time to get to outdoors, hunt, shoot, and spend time with family and friends. Let's get this show on the road.
So in the news this week, we have been seeing a lot of stuff about gun control, probably more news about guns than ever, and trying to get the evil looking guns off the street, not just every gun, but just the evil looking ones. And it's actually kind of funny because some of those people that don't even know anything about guns are posting pictures of 22 bolt action rifles that have pistol grips on them and saying that they're assault rifles, and they really don't know what they're talking about, like the kinds that you guys used in Why Heck, Lea. They shared a picture of one like that this week, and it was kind of funny because it really just goes to show that you really need to do your research and know what you're talking about ahead of time. So that was one that kind of made me laugh, but at the same time it's not funny because there's so many people that don't know and aren't looking for knowledge. But what have you seen this week, Lea? Anything good or bad, or what's the big news for young adults and guns?
Well, I've seen a lot of news since I am a journalism student. I try to stay up to date with all different kinds of media, whether it be newspapers or on the internet, blogs, which I don't consider news, but you see a side of an argument. One really striking thing that I saw was from the Salt Lake Tribune. They wrote a piece about the governor of Utah has passed a law that people 18 and up are able to purchase a pistol and get their concealed carry. And how it came about was a girl is actually being stalked, followed, and she had called the police many times reporting this guy, and she feared for her life that he was going to attack her. And so now she is a responsible teenage gun owner. She's 19, carries concealed in Utah, which is really cool, and I wish we had that everywhere.
Yeah, that's neat, and it's cool that you're excited about it, and that's totally contrary to what the most news that I've been seeing this week, because what I've been seeing are states that are trying to say you can't have a gun until you're 21, and that's not just a handgun, but not any gun until you're 21. So I think that's neat. What kind of background are they requiring to get the concealed carry? Do they just have to go apply, or do they have to take a course?
They do have to take a course, just like everyone else that wants to get a concealed carry. They have to go through the same training and same education as everyone else has to.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder, I'll have to look it up. I know that Utah is a reciprocal state for Colorado, but I still wonder what their requirements are to get your concealed carry license, because in Colorado, when I got my license, it really was very minimal training. Nothing like the training you have been through, which I got to get that on my list and get it scheduled to go and do a handgun course like you did. But what do you think the requirement should be? Do you think it should just be like a basic handgun course, or actually you're going to be going and taking an instructor course for shotgun, maybe you can find out some of the other courses that you could take when you're there.
Yeah, I think they should require you at least a basic handgun training. They shouldn't just say, okay, you can buy one and you have a permit for it, and so be on your way. I do think, just like Hunter Ed, you sit through class sessions and everything like that. I think it should be the same with a firearm. Really, I would say they should do that with every firearm. You should be going through classes for all of those.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you on that. You might feel that way because of me. I don't know, but it's something that I used to get pushback at a lot of events because I think that every gun owner should have to know how to operate the gun and go through a basic handgun course or go through a basic rifle or basic shotgun before they own the gun, because a lot of people buy guns and they don't know what to do with them. They don't even know what a magazine is, how to put it in or out, and stuff like that. So I am with you on that. I think there should be a course for every gun owner. I don't even think that's taken away from your Second Amendment rights, because I know I've had people say it's my Second Amendment right, but what were you going to say?
And what I really think is a good point with, especially when in the news an event happens, well then I know they start purchasing when there's a lot of home invasions. People will go and they want to buy a firearm that they've never owned a firearm before. And so they feel more protected having just this firearm in their house. But I think the whole purpose of it is, if you have it, you should know how to use it. And I think that's where it comes across. Kids getting this gun and parents don't know anything about it, much less their kids don't know anything about it.
Right.
So really the whole base of the argument, like we've said in past shows, is education. The parents should know. A gun owner should know. Every gun owner, whether you're 18 years old or 90 years old, everyone should be educated in no matter what type of firearm it is or what platform it is. An AR isn't an assault rifle, so it's the same as every other rifle. They should be educated on how to use a rifle, a shotgun, a pistol, even a bow. I think I know in our local news at the Durango Herald, they wrote deadly weapon, these bows, and I think
fling deadly sticks, right?
Yeah.
Which is true. It is true. But as you know, archery is like the safest sport across the board. Has the least injuries, the least incidents over any sport. And it's like to write about archery as though it's so evil, just like an assault rifle, which rifles don't assault people and bows don't assault people either. Neither do their arrows. Yeah. And I'm with you on that. Training everybody, even if you don't own a gun, because as you know, in another local news with the youngsters, it's a thing. People say, well, you have to lock your guns up. You have to lock your guns up. And for our listeners, this is a really tragic story, and it's one that I don't really enjoy sharing, but it's one that I think we can learn from. And these three young boys, they were 10 and 9 years old. Was there a 7-year-old with them?
Yeah.
So there were three boys being watched by older sibling, and they went outside. The older sibling thought they were just playing in the yard, but instead they went down the street to someone else's home, locked house, guns locked away, and they broke into the house, broke the cabinet that had the guns, and got the guns out. And the way that news article wrote was that the gun just went off. And if you have taken a gun course, you know guns don't just go off. You keep the muzzle pointed in the safe direction, keep your finger off the trigger, all the rules. And this youngster obviously didn't know the gun safety rules and shot a sibling and killed the sibling. And that's a story that I think if the parents had educated the kids, I don't even know if those parents had guns. I don't know anything about the parents, but I think those kids should have been educated. And even the Eddie Eagle program, it's the NRA program. And you've seen, I've passed out those coloring books and stuff at our bow shoots or our Easter hunt and stuff like that. But it tells them to not touch guns, just stay away from them. And they obviously, if you keep something a secret from kids, they're more curious, and those kids were very curious, which is very sad.
Yes, that was really tragic, especially the timing of the whole event after the shooting and multiple shootings, actually. And then to hear that story was just another heartbreak.
Right, completely 100% heartbreak. I've actually contacted the sheriff to see if we can put an Eddie Eagle program into the school there and teach for future. But then another parent of a classmate contacted us saying, what do I tell my daughter? She's afraid of all my guns now. And that made me go, what? Like, what did those teachers tell that child? This is a friend who is a hunter. The whole family hunts, grandpa, brothers, everybody hunts. And now his daughter is terrified of guns. So what are the teachers telling that child, and what are they teaching in school? And that, to me, is a huge problem.
Yeah, it's really sad. And especially the area where they go to school, they encourage hunting, they encourage outdoors, they have the hunter safety program in the school taught by the DOW officers, locals,
And me.
and a local, my mom. But yeah, I think it's really sad, and especially that is where everyone kind of gets their ideas in their heads from the teachers or kids around the school, and they could hear one thing saying the gun did it. It was the gun. Yeah. But as everyone always argues, a gun doesn't kill people.
Right.
People kill people, even if it was an accident in this case.
Yeah.
But it's sad.
It is very sad. Very, very sad. So I think even teachers need some firearm education because they don't understand firearms, a lot of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And living in a rural community where there are a lot of homes that have guns. And yep. So speaking of classes, Lea has started a shotgun club, a shooting club at her university, and she is going this coming weekend to take her instructor course. So I am so excited because it's one step closer and empowering you more, giving you the knowledge and helping you teach. So what are you most excited about in getting certified?
I've been really looking forward to this for a long time. I was really sad that I had to be of a certain age before I could get it, but it makes a lot of sense. This summer I helped out with a lady shoot in our local area with the game wardens, teaching them how to shoot shotguns and rifles and archery, muzzleload, all of that fun stuff. And that's when I really was determined to get certified. I was an apprentice with the shotgun instructor, and he would do one and then he would let me instruct and show them all the parts and pieces of shooting. So that was really what made me think I really want to continue this and do this more.
Yeah.
I think it's really enjoyable to teach someone that's never shot before, and then at the end of your time they're hitting clays and just the smile they have on their face is so amazing. So I'm really excited to be doing this class up here, and what's really exciting is the instructor, actually, I've talked with him, and he's so excited that a college student is becoming an instructor. Mm-hmm. And my whole basis is to get this shooting club together, teaching people how to shoot, or if they just want to come hang out and see how it goes, just stuff like that. I've slowly started to do some of it. It's not an official group yet, but it will be in the fall. I do have to have a certification and a couple other things, so that's on my list. But I have taken a couple of kids out to shoot. One of my good friends up here is a duck hunter, and so we always shot together, and I brought up the idea for us to make this club so we can meet other people who like to shoot. And actually, after creating the group and doing some outreach to people, most of the people I've gotten contact from are people that have never shot before or have shot a rifle one time when they were little. So it's really exciting for me that I'll get to kind of teach and instruct new people instead of old veterans, which is fun too. But especially with college kids that are sort of learning their values and
so hopefully you can make a good impression on them and put some responsibility. I mean, obviously firearms instruction is responsibility that you're teaching, but I think that's great that you're going to be able to teach some values, and even if they don't want to shoot down the road, at least they'll have a better understanding, like we were just talking about earlier. So on that note, you were saying how you first got, I mean, I know you've taught at the range, but you actually taught at the women's shoot with Parks and Wildlife officers. I am headed right after we get off of this call, I'm headed to our meeting for that shoot. If the dates work with your school schedule, can I say that you can help with shotgun again?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be recorded, so we've got it documented now. But I'll tell them tonight, because I know that the one that you helped with shotgun, I know he really enjoyed having you help because you're a great teacher.
Yeah, I think you have to be passionate in general to be a teacher and want to teach and want them to learn and make them feel comfortable. And that actually really helped me. I mentioned I took a few people a couple weeks ago to go shoot. I scouted some areas where it wasn't at an actual range, but I found an area where it was safe to shoot, kind of out in the mountains with a really beautiful view, and took these two kids. One was from Chicago and the other was from Boston.
Both gun-free zones. Yikes.
Gun-free zones, and very, but it was really a really good experience for my first time kind of testing the waters with this. Neither of them had ever shot before. So we all went out, as me and my other friend that I mentioned before, and these two, and they didn't have any shotguns, so they used ours, and we showed them how each of them worked, and we let them both shoot. Mine is a break action, and hers was a pump, so that was also a really cool thing to use with them, was the different types of shotguns that they got to experience. But I really learned a lot about how I wanted to work, and they had so much fun. And especially the one girl from Chicago, I think, really enjoyed it. And they still keep in contact and always wondering when we want to go shoot again. So that is super exciting. It makes me really excited to get more people out there and really teaching a lot of people. And
I'm
they
excited for you.
They were really grateful for us actually teaching them instead of just kind of sending them on their way, because they said they have been around friends that have gone out and shot before, but they're like, well, we know how, so you can just kind of follow our lead rather than educating them.
And actually teaching them how to do it and what the differences are and stuff. It was nice that you had two different types of shotguns to show them also. So that's super cool.
Yeah, I think in future episodes we can discuss teaching, because I know I've learned a lot of things of just like supplies you need to bring and how to be prepared, not just being an instructor learning how to teach them, but there's a lot of things to bring that I did learn from that one. So maybe we can hear that in future episodes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that does make sense, because here at the ranch, we have everything here because we have our own range. So you actually had to make a mobile range and take it out there. So that was, I bet, something that you did learn a bunch. And you probably, as you get your club going, you're going to have to get some grants and money. And to our listeners, as you know, the WSI ad is Leah's affiliate. She makes money off of that, and maybe she can use it to buy some clays or something that she needs to keep this going, as well as we were talking, she's saving money for her camera lens for Legit Outdoors. She's a busy girl.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys will tune in. Stay tuned and go subscribe to Legit Outdoors. She's on Facebook and Instagram and the website. And you can follow Leah Leggett and Mia Anstein, or I'm sorry, Leah Huntress. Leah Huntress.
If you search my name, it'll come up.
Perfect. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. You could tell oh my goodness. I have to pause. This squirrel has a piece of pizza.
Take his picture.
Oh my. He's climbing the tree and then he had like a huge piece of pizza. Now I can't see him now.
That is too funny.